Hi, it's me again. I heard a lot of things happening in the internet and stuff like this, and people think I was dead or not. So I'm still alive, very well. But I did a lot of tests and trials, and you know, making parts and stuff like this. I just wanted to really figure out what ever was going on with Tesla and how come he was capable of getting so much with so little input. and In the last couple of months, I believe I totally break into Tesla the way he made energy. It was very simple. I mentioned that before. It's RF signal and its radiation, and electromagnetic radiation. That's the the only way you can do amplification of energy is through radiation. You can't do any other way. It costs too much to produce it. But when you start using RF radiation or electromagnetic radiation, and you convert that, it's at high voltage. It's amazing how you can achieve to run. Like for example, I mean, I'm still working with the i9 controller because we have a controller issue. It seems to be nobody can figure out, a controller. So I figure a way how to do it mechanically. So I'm going to do it mechanically. But in the meantime, I got parts getting made up and stuff like this. I'm soon I'm finished. Well, probably shortly after New Year, I'll have all my part to put the mechanical controller directly to the shaft, and he will control this whole engine just as good as, if it's not better than electronics. I will be able to achieve my high RPM between 5 to 8,000 RPM, no problem. So the motors still run the same, between 12 and 1500 RPM. Not enough to be able to power a house, because I need the RPM. I need a high voltage. Now I started a new generator. It's a new generation generator I'm producing. I'm putting together. I did many tests already. It's a brushless solid magnet generator, and you have no brushes, and it will put out very high volts. And that's another thing about Tesla. Everything he was doing was high volt. I mean, the reason he was making this big show and stuff like this is because he was using RF volts, electromagnetic volt, which is not like AC volts. AC volt is an electrical volt, not an RF volt. It's totally different. The RF volt can go through you without killing you, and the AC volt at high voltage and very low amperage currents will kill you. So that's the difference between the two volts, and between the difference between RF and AC. The wave is the same, except one is done with DC, and it get communicated through the transformer. The jump is air wave going through the transformer plate, and then bring it down the voltage to 120 to 240 at 60 hertz. So that's what a transformer is. When I said at the beginning, the transformer is a transmitting antenna over and a receiving antenna, and I still stick with that because that's exactly what it is. When the two wires do not connect to each other, you definitely have a wireless jump somewhere. But the way we're going to bring the power to it is going to be a very high volt. The generator is only about 6.5 inch long and about 3.5 to 4 inch across. It's a very, very small generator, and the magical trick is put it out to about 16,000 volts. Now, this producing 16,000 volts, I got to make that turn, a minimum of 5,000 RPM. But soon as turning it up, the 6,000 volt will come up directly into here through a mechanical switching system. First thing, the power will come up through a very high voltage rectifier making straight DC, and the DC go through a rotary points to add the on-off 6 times a second, and then you get dumped right to the top of a transformer of 14.4 volts, and you will be able to feed this tiny little thing. You'll be able to run a full house at 200, maybe 400 amp service. I would say no problem at all. and it will run by itself, because even as I got today, um, when I got my part for the generator, I'm going to put it inside. I'm not showing people how the generator is built, and I'm not telling how the generator is built right now. I'm just want to test it to make sure when I show you that it runs by itself. You activate for 10 to 15 seconds with a 12-volt battery. You get the motor going at the speed, and then you remove the battery out of it, totally out of the equation. It will run totally by itself, and all it's going to have is a set of Maxwell, a series of Maxwell cap to maintain the charge going to the 14.5 volt into my inverter constantly, so that and my charger will be able to recharge my caps, because the Maxwell, they're fast charge, and I will be able to push, like, maybe 2, maybe 4 amp into it, but I really doubt it. So, but it will be self-loop. It won't have a battery. It will be running constantly. The I got a couple of groups actually working, try to figure out the controller, try to reprogram this one. Not much success now. That's what I went to do it as a mechanical one. All my life I've been working with mechanical device, and obviously before we had electronics, everything was running in mechanical. And mechanical, a controller for one of those motor is very simple. It's just like the timing on your car. It's no different. That one is a 12 pole. It's just like a timing for a 12 cylinder. Everything, if it's timed in the right place with the proper discharge into the coil, this thing will turn. At the right timing, you can maintain it, and you can increase the RPM and decrease the RPM by moving the timing from the rotary system. So with all on the work right now, we're going to be able to produce a prototype, I would say by mid-January, totally self-loop. And for me, after the self-loop is going to have to run at least for 30 days straight with no batteries, just to show and tell, hey, it works, you don't need the batteries. Soon you figure out you don't have to, if you start to make a low voltage generator, you're killing yourself. It's too hard, it costs too much making low volt. Soon you go to very high volt, it costs very little to make volts. There's no resistance at high volt. At 700 volt, the resistance start to lose. At 2000 volts, you have no resistance whatsoever. Under load or down load is the same thing. So that's the reason why the big power plant, they're capable of putting out so much power with those turbines, is because they're making high voltage right out of the turbine. If they were making low voltage, I'll tell you what, those turbines wouldn't be big enough to turn this generator to turning. It would take a turbine probably 4 or 5 times bigger than that. So this is the big mystery of Tesla. It's RF. It's it's electromagnetic radiation it's playing with. It's at a certain level it's dangerous, but at a lower level, the way I'm playing here, I'm way below the megahertz. So I mean, so far below the megahertz, it's not even funny. So it's no more than actually it's no more than a 100 watt bulb. The radiation of 100 bulb. Just release an electromagnetic field. So at that point in time, the unit will pretty much produce a very low level of electromagnetic radiation, like everything else. Like my camera right now, she's putting as much as more as a microwave. All those little twisty bulbs, they're the same way. I mean, it's very simple actually. I can show you. This is a trial field Geiger, right? So I can put it on to 100, right? And it's barely moving. I can see there? Yeah, there you go. It's barely moving. So it's barely nothing there. Now I'm just gonna start this here. I'm gonna find out. See how the electromagnetic field is going to about 90% right now of this small Geiger, right? So he's telling me that's what I'm going to be putting out, electromagnetic field. It's because I'm spinning magnet, you know. And at that point in time, it's not dangerous. I mean, you can sit on that all day long. You know, it's just like watching TV is worse. You know, when I check my TV, that thing goes right to the top, to the end there, like you want to bend the needle. So I ordered 3 more different types to make sure what we're measuring is right. You know, also for radiation. That one only gave you the magnetic, not the radiation, not the density or the level of radiation. I have ones coming up that's got all that calculation built into it. So hopefully in mid-January I will have the other 3, and I'll be able to demonstrate. And having the self-loop, and I can be demonstrating between this working, generate power, and running by itself, and putting power out so you can actually use it. Like, you know, I'll have a small old-fashioned element with a loose spring into it. There's a full resistance. It's a 660 watt. And I will bring that, and I will be cooking boiling water over. Because then, you know, over Unity, you got something that's running by itself. It doesn't have a battery anymore. So what more do you want? You know, self-sufficient and produce power. Soon we can get a controller and make it go faster. Then I can hook it up into a transformer, and then we can rock and roll from there. But in the meantime, I have to do tests. So, you know, it's something we have to do to be able to go forward, because there's nothing in the book that really tell you what to do with this. It's just, you know, trial and error all the way. And so far I've been going the right direction since almost the beginning, when I realized this energy with Tesla. His biggest secret with Tesla, it was he know how to manipulate iron copper to make electromagnetic field. So he figured how the earth make a natural electromagnetic field with radiation, and he said, hey, I can do that mechanically, and it's exactly what he did. So he was an expert of mimicking the earth in a more powerful way, because the earth is really weak. You know, as we know, everybody know about the earth battery. Look it up. It's not something new. It's something that was invented way before Tesla. But Tesla, when he was a kid, he could not keep his hand off and try to figure out why this battery is getting charged. And he had only by the earth to watch how things going. So he was an observer. And that's what all the world we have today is, pretty much an action and a function what he saw in the nature. It was not a calculation. It was a nature, like current, direction, motion, volts, volumes. You know, everybody's got all those little calculations who goes nowhere about to try to explain the ohm, the resistance, and the amperage and all that stuff. That's all bogus. You know, and RF electricity runs just like water in the hose. No difference. You know, if you want to push it up, you got to pump up some capacity behind. You know, if you want to push a lot of volume on the same, you know, horizontal direction, then you have to have a high flow of it. You know, this means high volts. And that's what we're doing with power line. RF, high volts, is DC, made with strong magnet or an electromagnetic field with a ring brush on the rotors. It's just the old-fashioned way to do things, and we never been told how it's done and stuff like that. So that's why it takes so much to just be able to break all the mystery of it. No, because it's no such thing as a book is telling you, hey, what you heard is all a lie, it doesn't work that way, right? I can't find that book. But, you know, trial and error and patience and stuff like this, and just don't give up. You know, sooner or later you break into, hey, this is all logic. It all logically fall in place of logic. Well, this whole world of computer is built on logic. If there was no logic, you couldn't build a computer. You know, how you give him a command if he's thinking of 60 different things and it's not even looking at you, right? It's all logical, it's all orders. And that's what the world works, you know, orders. You know, and our orders are getting really weak right now because of pollution. And pollution is getting really bad. When you see the boreal light or northern light, they're fluorescent red, almost shocking red. I mean, that's not good. Might be look pretty, you make a hell of a picture, memory picture, but it's not right. I mean, like if something is going on here with the atmosphere, because this is a really bad gas. I mean, the light is caused by it's most likely plasma, so it's a gas. But the element of the gas changed the color. And if you know, since I was a kid, I grew up with Northern Light in Northern Quebec, and they're white, blue, and green. I never see any other color. Now they're like a rainbow, multiple color and bright red. So that's got to be pollution. I don't get what people say, you know. So, but hopefully, in a month or so, we'll be able to get all the bugs out of this one. The generator, all the parts are getting, you know, fabricated. I'm dropping some more parts to get fabricated tomorrow. So, crossing our finger, after New Year's, I can be collecting all my parts and put this thing together and testing it. But in the meantime, people keep trying yourself, learn about it. You know, that's the only way you can do is trial and error. And believe me, sometimes it's got a lot of error, but don't give up. It's you know, it's not the end of the world. Just relax, you know, and go for a walk when you run into a corner, and then come back and think about it. You know, just it's all about logic. It's nothing else. Making power is logical, mechanical device. It's not an Houdini game and stuff like that, what we see a lot of on the internet. It's logic, mechanical, and logic together would make power for this world. It's been doing that for many, many years. So I mean, like, you know, we had power since the late 1800 and early 19. Then when that's all exploded, you know, the AC currents, you know, communication through the waves and all that stuff. And yes, true, if you make RF, and I'm not the only one saying it, as a multi-group of researcher and scientists, and they all say you can transfer a massive amount of energy through radio communication, and that's why Tesla was trying to do. But his tower in London was not that. He was trying to send the energy through the waterway and the ground, which is very smart because high voltage travel in water is a perfect conduction for high voltage. You can move water, you know, around the world, move voltage around the world, and just throw a rod and with a wire on it into the water, and it will recapture the volt instantly without losing 1 volt. Tested, I did that, and I tried, and I you know, it works. I even tried with wire, radio wave. You know, you can have a light in the end of a 1,000-foot long wire. Soon you hit the switch, that light instantly turn on. You can't do that with AC. You know, I dare you to do that with AC with a 1,000-foot line. You will have nothing, no volt in the end of it. You know, nothing will glow. At 300 feet, you lose 40% of your volt. So can you imagine? At 1,000 feet, you have zero, absolutely nothing. But with my little pump, an LED, a floodlight, LED floodlight, and so you turn the switch on, that bulb is on. It's like instant. So anybody who doesn't believe me about RF, you should do your research. I'm not the only one. I have a lot of scientists totally agree what I'm doing. It's RF. It's nothing else. No bad dirty current and stuff like that. So I'm going to keep on going that direction, my friend. And so I'll have probably another video after this one, probably this weekend. I got some questions people want me to answer, so I'll make a small video and answer some of the questions. And yeah, it's my little lab here in my place now, and I can enjoy to be working inside, and at the same time I'm part of the house. You know, it's a garage, so it's all locked up, and I get all my my stuff working here, and it is great. It's nice and warm and it's cozy, and I like it. So there you go. Soon we have all my parts. They will be back together, and I'll be making a video out of it and put it on the tube. So till next time, guys, you're having a good holiday. I hope. Catch you later.